All right, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast we care all latest in television and entertainment news with too many hosts with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen. Another one is
John Berwick, and the third one is
Kyle Bridger. I would say that I am the Jerry Buss to John's Magic Johnson because he works the magic behind the scenes. And, you know, Dave can be Jerry West, just angry all the time.
I'm going to throw this microphone across the room, break another clip on the podcast. Yeah, we will be talking about all those characters, the real life people being reincarnated on this new show, Winning Time. And then we got an Apple TV Plus show, The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray, Samuel L. Jackson. A lot to talk about tonight. We also have this first segment, and John, I need your help. What is it?
in and out points.
In order out. In order out. In out.
Yes, it is in and out points. All right, let's start off here with this grandmother from Chicago. She was rescued from a 17-hour hostage ordeal after the police were alerted for the most unlikeliest reasons. She was missing the solution to that day's Wordle challenge. All right, let's talk about Wordle. First of all, Kyle, have you been into the Wordle craze?
Yeah, I check back in every now and again. I do it sporadically. So they could not find me if I was abducted. I would be dead because the Wordle is too sporadic. So please don't trust Wordle for your association with me and where my whereabouts may be. Please don't.
John, what about you? Are you Wordling?
I am a terrible speller, so I've done
It's
once
5
or
letters,
twice.
John. It's 5 letters.
Yes, but there are so many combinations,
Yeah.
including words that like don't
You
really
can put
exist.
in anything, and they'll tell you if it's right or wrong.
Yeah,
before you-
yeah. The key is getting it right quick enough.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
So I've done one or two.
You can do-
Marginal results.
And there's so many other ones. There's Hurdle. There's Quadrille. Well, there's like 4 of them at once. Too much. I stick with the classic. I'm a Wordle. I pretty much do it every day. I think I'm like 60, 70 times. I looked at my little stats.
Wow.
I'm only at a 97% win rate though. There was 1 or 2 days where they do that like atch, and is it batch? Is it hatch? Is it latch? Is it?
Yeah.
It's like they screw you over.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm into Wordle right now. Dark in the chat. Wordle sounds like a crappy Pokemon. Yeah, could be. War Tortle, wasn't that a Pokemon? But anyways, let's focus in on Denise Holt here. She was the grandmother who was home alone when a suspect who was naked, mentally ill, he entered her home. Her daughter in Seattle noticed that something was amiss when Miss Holt failed to send her daily Wordle, and she alerted the police, and a standoff ensued. Thankfully, she ended up unharmed after this ordeal. But yeah, it's just, I guess it pays all those people complaining on social media about, oh, I don't need to see your Wordle thing. I guess, I don't know if she was posting on Twitter or just in a text chain with her daughter, but I guess it's a good idea to share your results because it could be like her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's great for keeping track of your old people. That'll be their new advertising campaign.
What are you trying to say? I play Wordle. You're trying to say
I know.
I'm an old man?
Exactly. You're old. I was more concerned with the fact that you said this guy was a deranged naked man and then led a standoff.
Yeah.
I hope he was holding some kind of other equipment. I had the joke, Dave. Come on.
Yeah, it is a 5-letter word that you could probably use in Wordle. But I don't even want to go into any more with Kyle, but I want to lead into our next thing.
Okay.
Wordle was purchased by the New York Times for like I think it was like
Insane
seven figures.
amount of money.
It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's the new kind of craze. All these tech things that I don't understand are making a lot of money. And that, of course, leads into NFTs.
Okay. I knew it was either that or crypto. I was like, wait, where are we going?
We're going to go into that a little bit later, too. These are all kind of like
okay.
tech things that I don't understand. That's the theme of tonight's In and Out Points.
Okay.
We're going to start off with NFTs. And Reese Witherspoon, she has a production company, Hello Sunshine. And they have forged a storytelling partnership with World of Women. And that is an NFT collective from women creators. Now, as part of this, they will build on the World of Women character universe, and they're going to franchise it into entertainment properties, including films, scripted, and unscripted TV series. I'm very confused by this.
Yeah. Can't they do that already? Can't you do that
I
with?
You need the NFTs. You got to.
Couldn't they just get it from, these ideas from women themselves and then just create them anyways? Why do they have to do the NFT business for that to happen?
Because that's the hot thing right now. You got to say it's
you got to
NFT the movie, and you're like, oh, sign me up. Take my money. Take my money.
I get it. So there has to be a basis in what it is.
You got to have the IP because it's like you can't sell like whatever. Like with the movie Joker or the Batman, I guess is more recent. You could tell that story about anybody and nobody would care. But you slap the label Batman on it. You put the little outfit on. Boom! Oh my God, $1 billion, and that's all it is. You just have to, it's all about how you sell it. And I've heard of.
But I still don't understand this.
Either
way.
I don't either. I'm hoping someone can explain it to me because I've heard of NFTs based on movies and TV. Like there's a movie or TV show and they're making NFTs for you to collect off of that. But now we're doing it in reverse. Now there's an NFT and we're going to make that into a movie. What's the movie? Like, is this what is it? Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet or something? Or whatever those the emoji movie, like what are we doing with this?
But here's the thing, is it anything an NFT if you copyright the digital if you copyright the digital,
but it's an NFT. It's not an NFT isn't a copyright though. The copyright holder can be someone completely separate from the NFT holder.
I don't understand how this works.
The NFT is and this is a really gross oversimplification. So anybody who really knows what they are,
I need
Yes.
I need this like
explain it to me like a 5-year-old.
Yes. It's basically a almost like a Bitcoin that says a URL where your image is stored. That's basically all it is.
So it's like a very.
It's a hyperlink tied to a token.
It's a cyber really storage unit.
It's a hyperlink that you can trade to people basically, and it costs money to trade and it costs money to buy them, and nobody really gets anything except for the person selling it.
Yeah, so it's that unique code that is the NFT, and that is what makes it valuable.
Yeah, it's the location of the link that links to the image, I guess. Yes.
Oh my god.
It's not really
for instance, like these pictures we're using in tonight's Twitch stream here. I think they're NFTs.
They look.
I took a screenshot of it.
Yeah.
Like, is this like?
That's your NFT, dude.
That's my NFT now, right? I took a screenshot of their NFTs. Like, who's in charge of this hyperlink now?
You'd have to mint that as an NFT, which is a whole separate thing.
Oh my god! And then somebody can screenshot tonight's episode of me screenshotting that and sell that as an NFT. It's confusing. I don't like it. Yeah. I'm an old man. I don't.
But what's the incentive? Like something like this. So this the story that we're talking about. What's the incentive to creating an NFT early on? Because again, it's like it'd be like these women creators created this NFT to then pitch it to Reese Witherspoon. Whereas like if they never had the NFT in the first place, they're just pitching Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's in my opinion, there's nothing here to pitch. They're just not randomly. They're images generated from a predefined set of rules. So you have 900 backgrounds, 900 noses, 900 eyes, 900 whatever, and you get 42 billion combinations because you can have all those different things all mixed together. I don't know where they're going to take that and generate a movie or anything off of unless they just pick a character and say, oh, this person looks cool, let's make a backstory. You know what I mean? I don't get that connection.
That's the only thing I can think of too. And
but then again, it's just pitching characters.
Yeah.
And
I
you
agree.
just happen to have key art to go along with it.
Kind of. Yeah. And it's a little bit weird that this seems to be backwards of most things. Usually you get an IP that turns into an NFT, whether legally or not, mostly illegally, or in violation of a copyright, I'll put it that way. But yeah, in this case, it seems to be a little bit backwards. I don't, without knowing more info, the only thing I could say is, yeah, they kind of are just taking, like you said, key art and trying to make something out of it. Again, could be wrong. I don't think we have all the info, but I don't see how else, unless you're doing some kind of like Mad Libs kind of thing, but that doesn't seem like it's included, so I don't know.
It's just, I think it's like, it's the hot item right now. By saying I'm turning NFTs into movies, boom, that becomes the headline that Variety used here to
I'll
sell
invest
things.
in that.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's like anyone trying to, as we saw in like the Dropout, it's like, oh yeah, that does sound like a cool invention. I'll invest. It's like, well, wait a minute, do you really know what you're talking about when you're?
Does this have any value at all in real life? Like,
I just wonder if you ask like the average American if they know what an NFT is, would they have any idea?
I don't know, and I
most
just
people
talked about it
probably
for 5
would not,
minutes.
Yeah.
So
sure.
why is it so buzzy in a small? Is it
It's
just
making-
because celebrities are buying and trading these things?
It's making a small subset of people a lot of money, like millions and millions of dollars. And seeing that, you can easily pitch it to a celebrity and say, hey, look how good this did. Let's get you on board. It'll go even bigger. We'll make even more money. And that's
I saw
kind
something
of
where
what
like
it is.
Paris Hilton got Jimmy Fallon an NFT, and they talked about it on Tonight Show, which might have raised some legal issues, according to a few articles I read, because he's talking about his NFT, which would raise the value of it on his program. It's like this very like legal.
The whole thing is very much riddled with. I want to be careful about what I say. Potentially copyright violating images and artwork, and potentially shady methods of acquiring some of these things, and a lot of rug pulling where you say, everyone's going to put in $4 billion, and then at the end you're going to get this great thing, and you end up with like, a pixelated picture of a mushroom that, you can't tell it's a mushroom, it looks like something else, but you don't know, and that's what you get at the end of the day. And it's like you paid a ton of money for it, and the person who minted all these moved the money to a private wallet and disappeared, and all of a sudden you're kind of just stuck with a JPEG at the end of the day. A lot of these are like that. I can't say they all are, but in my view, the overwhelming majority of them are like that. There's no benefit, and a lot of people are trying to tie this NFT, this token, to more than an image. So if you own the token, you get access to like extra things, which is cool. But why can't you do that with a sign-in or a login? Why does it have to cost $20,000 for one of these? So I don't know. It's supposed to be like, oh, you own it, so only you have access to it. But like, why sell it once to one person for $20,000 when maybe you can sell it to 20,000 people for $20 a piece, and then you have 40 billion or whatever the math is. I don't know. It just seems like it's very shady, a lot of these, and it doesn't make sense in my mind why you do it. And then on top of all that, there's other impacts like how much energy is being used to validate all this stuff, and what happens if a company goes under, you're stuck with a link that goes to nowhere. So if even though you download the image, your proof that you own the NFT just points to nowhere. So there's a lot of stuff that is not really well thought out, and like I said, it kind of exists to just make people fast cash, and people are doing it and getting out.
Yeah, and I don't know much about World of Women, but this NFT collection for them has generated more than $120 million according to Vanity Fair. So it makes money.
Yeah, and like nothing against this, whatever is happening here. Great for them that they're able to make this happen for them. I just have no idea how it works or why it's any different than what I was suggesting earlier. But they're working within the space that they're given and they're making money. So who am I to judge them for doing that? That's good for them.
It works because enough people believe in it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of almost all it is. I mean, you can make the fair analogy that enough people believe in money, because it's not backed by gold anymore. But the government isn't just stopping printing money and saying, haha, it's worthless now. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of what's happening a lot in this. And it's hard to justify it when if this pitches and goes nowhere, what do you have? An image. Like, and even that, you don't really own the copyright, most likely. You probably just own the NFT to it. So they could potentially sell the copyright to somebody else who now owns the image, but you don't own the image. You own a link to where the image used to be. Like, I don't know.
And how many things in development eventually make it all the way? Like, very rare. So I don't know.
It's a tough thing, and it's not just this production. Now, we should be clear. It's NFTs and Bitcoin in general, and not Bitcoin, but other coins that are doing a lot of these polls and or kind of lackluster efforts to do things.
Well, if you ever run out of NFTs, if they need more, they can always head to Limewire, because Limewire, the former peer-to-peer file sharing platform, is returning as an NFT marketplace. There's two Austrian brothers, and they have purchased the rights to the site with the intent of turning it into a marketplace for music-related NFTs. And it's going to be Limewire GmbH. I don't know how to say it, but that's what the name of it's going to be. And it's expected to launch in May. And it's going to offer NFTs of songs, merchandise, artwork, and experiences like backstage content. Supposedly 10 really big mainstream artists have signed up. Are you going to be checking out Limewire for your NFT needs?
I'm a little surprised by this, because this used to be where you go to get premium viruses. Like, it's
Is that an NFT? That's an experience.
Yeah. This is something else. I did not expect this. Like, the show notes don't say anything about what this is, so this is a surprise to me. That's crazy. And I've also seen more than one website pop up doing music NFTs that literally pulled every artist, album, and artwork out of like Google's like music cache and trying to sell them as NFTs. And it's just like, you don't own any of that. So how is Limewire, the new Limewire, going to do this appropriately, where they get people involved first and offer like you said,
got 10 really big mainstream artists, John.
Yeah, but what else is there on that platform? Is my Bandcamp thing that I published 6 years ago that nobody knows about going to end up as an NFT that somebody buys and I get nothing?
Really big mainstream artist number 11, I bet.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll offer me something. But you know what I mean? Like
yeah, I know what you mean.
That's happened more than once. I've seen it in the last 2 months, where a site pops up and it has all this artwork and all these bands, and it gets crushed because it's cease and desist and stuff. But I don't know.
The music industry is not something to mess with. I mean, because this thing used to be synonymous with pirated music.
I know. That's what I was just going to say. It's ironic that 10 big artists are working with a company that basically proliferated and was the downfall of the music industry.
Yeah. But supposedly this go around, the brothers are emphasizing legality, and they're going to be very strict with any kind of anti-money laundering checks. They're going to be looking into all that. And supposedly they got Ernst & Young. They're going to vet all of the company's activities. Again, who knows? This sounds like the Movie Pass 2.0. Like, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, seriously.
Nice try, but
why? But why would you want? I guess it's already has a name brand and associated with something, but it's not a great name brand. So why would you even want to go down this route?
Beats me. Yeah, I don't know how much they spent for this yet, because people are going to be looking for other things and wanting the free or the pirated stuff, and then when they get here and it's like, oh, I got to pay for this NFT, I'll find Limewire 2.0 and I'll find the other knockoff. But
Limewire was no good. There's never a point where it was good.
Yeah.
Just downloading random files all over the place. Oh my god.
What a time we used to live. But you would use Limewire, or you might use this other site. Fans were recently shocked to learn, thanks to a tweet from T-Pain, that Napster, the original peer-to-peer filing sharing software service, is actually still around, and it's actually been turned into an audio streaming service. Did you guys know this? That Napster is not only still around, but it's practically Spotify.
Really?
Supposedly.
That's hilarious.
An audio streaming service of Napster. Here we go. It kind of changed music, and now it is doing what music's doing.
Was it Napster and Metallica? Was that the big case? I forget. That kind of blew that whole thing open. I'll have to look it up.
Do you still remember your first download?
No, I was first of all, I never had the correct internet speed.
I know,
until late in high school to even have anything to watch or download. But my friend might have had this and might have gotten a list from me of songs that I needed burned to a CD, maybe.
Allegedly.
A friend of a friend. I mean, this happened to him, not me. But yeah,
I think the first song I ever downloaded on Napster was a Coldplay song. How embarrassing is that?
Man.
Looking it up, the Metallica and Napster case was the big digital copyright download case that spurred all the copyright laws and DRM, and that was a big case back when it happened.
Ended up with Justin Timberlake and Social Network.
Full circle. But supposedly Dark saying, they've been legit for well over a decade, but they charge like $50 a month for music streaming. No thanks. I'll stick with Spotify.
Jeez, it must be the best quality. It must be almost analog.
Back in the day, Napster was not the best quality. Again, my friend said that, not me. But but it's interesting because this actually leads into this other story I want to cover, because it all started with this tweet that T-Pain had where he shared how many streams it takes for an artist to make $1 on that service for your song. And while some numbers differ slightly from the official Recording Industry Association of America's findings from 2020, they're pretty close. We can talk about them a bit tonight here. Looks like Napster is actually the best when it comes for the artist here. Still, it's 53 streams, but 53 streams gets them $1 versus, I don't know, let's see, 315 for Spotify, 750 for Pandora, and 1,250 for YouTube Music.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about user share. So it's like 53 streams for Napster compared to how many users. Does Spotify have 4 times the users of Napster?
That's true as well.
And YouTube Music, is any YouTube video played count as it? Because then it makes more sense, because look at the traffic that YouTube gets. So, but Pandora at 750. I mean, either way, artists should be paid for, what they're creating. But it makes sense with to me, the number of users for the subscription services, I guess.
I wasn't thinking of that, but maybe that's why the Napster spends $50 a person, I guess, for a month for music, because they're given at least $1 eventually, if they even have 53 users to, but I mean, these numbers are very sad when you sit down and think about it, where it's, it takes this much just for $1 for an artist to get.
Because imagine it. Oh, sorry, John.
No, go ahead. If your thought is relevant, go for it.
I was just going to say, because imagine if you were an artist who's not big, who's not T-Pain, 315 streams could be a lot for you, right? That's a hell of a lot. So like to make $1 off that, that's got to stink, you know?
I asked that. Yeah, go ahead, John.
My big thing is looking at this image. Did he make this image? Because obviously at the top, the header is like orange, but then you have a white paste over it that says streams to make $1. And then each of the boxes
chart with a grain of salt. It's from T-Pain here.
Each of the boxes has like some obviously whited out area in each one of them. And then the font is different between the name of the platform and the dollar amount. So did he just kind of slap numbers around, or does he have like something to back this up? Like,
I will say, because I looked at some of the ones from the Recording Industry Association and things, and they were within, a few here. And I'm like, okay, it's been 2 years. Maybe some things have changed a little bit.
All right.
It's good enough for this in and out point. But yeah, if you're doing a research paper on this, maybe use a more legit source like Wikipedia.
T-Pain's not a primary source?
Yeah. So
the other thing is, how do we know that T-Pain has the same contract as everyone else? Like, I know that at least on Twitch, like some of the higher up people have a different contract than like me. Like, they earn more money per sub than I do. So is T-Pain getting 53 streams per dollar, where Beyonce is getting maybe 20 streams a dollar? Like, who knows?
Great point, John.
But what if you're just a random user uploading to Spotify? Is everyone under a blanket
probably add like a 0 or 2 on all these numbers here? Yes. 12,000 streams on YouTube Music for $1. But all right. Napster came back as a streaming service. Will Blockbuster be next? That's our final in and out point tonight. A group calling themselves Blockbuster DAO, which stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization, is seeking to buy Blockbuster from Dish Network and convert it into a streaming service that would run on blockchain. John, there's a lot of words in there that I already don't understand.
How running on blockchain? What does that even mean?
I don't know.
There are these slow like calculations that that machines do to verify that other calculations were done like, it doesn't make sense. So you're gonna add 2 + 2 and get the stream of succession or something? Like, what does it mean run on blockchain?
It's like this side of John here. We're getting the angry John.
I don't get it. I don't say like, oh, I'm gonna go to the store. Let me go get my car that runs on like hopes and dreams. Like, it doesn't work. How does one equate to the other?
Well, let's give them 5 million and they'll tell us.
Fucking.
They have a thread, a manifesto on Twitter. I'll read the first one here, but maybe this will explain a little bit more, John. Our mission is to liberate Blockbuster and form a DAO to collectively govern the brand as we turn Blockbuster into the first ever film streaming platform and a mainstay of both the Web3 brands and products, but a powerhouse in the future of the film industry. Again, John, there's a lot of words in there I don't know, and I've been seeing this Web3, and again, this is me, old man Dave here. What's Web3? What does this mean? DAO, Blockbuster. What?
Oh, Blockbuster was a movie rental. No.
Yeah, okay, I got that one. Okay.
Web3, I think I don't know. I think it's a concept term for like the next gen of internet and like the framework it's built on.
Silicon Valley, the open internet or whatever.
I don't know. That's my blind shot in the dark. I honestly, I've seen the term around, but I haven't looked into it. So the quadruple grain of salt on that one. I'm probably way off base, but I don't get it. Like, I guess if you intend to pay, like Dark's saying, pay with Bitcoin and have people validate that the payment went through, but that's already Bitcoin. Why, like, plenty of places accept Bitcoin as payment online already. Why does it have to be built on this? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they are intending to leverage crypto or anything like that besides having it in the name and being like, yeah, look at that, we got crypto. Yeah. Like, that's the only thing I could think of. these transactions are not fast enough to send data and validate data. I mean, maybe you can validate that like the HTTP handshake is correct on your computer, so it's like copyright protection. Like that might be fast enough, but I mean, you buy something with Bitcoin, if you don't want to pay like what they call gas fees and stuff, like to make it go faster, these transactions take a significant amount of time. Like, I don't know. It in my mind, it just is like it doesn't compute, and maybe I'm missing something fundamental because I'm not into like crypto and all that, but it just seems like incompatible.
I just wonder if it's like the crypto giants actually wanting to do something cool with a movie service, or if they're using the name like Blockbuster to try and raise more awareness to crypto. So it's honestly like an avenue just to get like more people into crypto more. You know what I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying.
We're looking at this in and out point or whatever from a streaming movie perspective, but really maybe the idea is more of a crypto than the movie portion of it.
And this may give more information of what they're up to here, but in their tweets, they did say that there's another interested party that lowballed an offer of 1.8 million, but they are going to go in with a $5 million offer. But the catch is they don't have it. They're crowdsourcing this $5 million from the fans.
So they came up with the idea. They want us to fulfill that destiny.
Yeah. What do we get out of this here? We paid this $5 million for you, and you get the Blockbuster app. Okay, I see. But
I'm gonna crowdsource my my own destiny.
Yeah. And the number, I mean, first of all, if this other low ball offer is 1.8 million, they're going in with 5. Here's something for you. Dish initially bought Blockbuster in 2011 for $320 million.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And that's like that's like 2 years before Netflix started doing original series. Like that was probably like, this is Blockbuster. Maybe this will be the future. They'll start doing what Netflix is doing. And then it's like, you don't know what's going to happen in 2 years. But
oh man,
320 million. They want 5 million to try to buy this company from Dish.
I know, but you also
I was gonna say I like how they're starting to already use the name like Blockbuster in their like marketing and all that stuff, and they haven't even bought it yet. Like, make some other corporation that's gonna own it that you can have a name that's not the thing you're trying to buy. I mean, they're gonna try and offer $5 million, and they're just gonna get a cease and desist back. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
I just had this thought of this crypto group being like, there was a competitive offer, a lowball offer of 1.8 million because we made it. It's now 5 million, but we're going to crowdsource the effort here.
Well, if they're going to go for 5 million, I think we can outbid them, guys. And if we go for maybe $5 million and $1, we get our fans Dual Redundancy.
Let's prices right there. ASS.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm excited. I think we have an idea here. We're going to be the proud owners of Blockbuster.
I'll take 5,001 cent, Bob.
You're all overbid. Sorry. We just need the DR NFT. Dark, make it. Do it. Well, we'll cut you in on this deal for Blockbuster. All right. Well, we have some shows to talk about. We should get to them here. In order to talk about them, we have to go back. So, guys, send us back.
Back in time.
We're back, baby!
Gotta get back in time.
All right,
here we go. I was late on that one.
Yeah, you didn't. No, not a winning. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm trying to do like a Charlie Sheen. Remember back in the day when he was winning and all the blood, whatever. But anyways, it's winning time. And it's the rise of the Lakers Dynasty, the series premiere, The Swan, March 6th, HBO. This sports drama is based on the book Showtime, Magic, Kareem, Riley, and the Los Angeles Lakers Dynasty. And it's going to tell the story of the NBA team in the 1980s, with season 1 specifically focusing on Magic Johnson, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. All right, Kyle, we're going to start off with you. You're our resident sports fan on the podcast. What did you think of Winning Time?
I enjoyed it quite a lot. It was cool to get a retro perspective. I like the filter they kind of used. It enhanced the mood, the tone of the show. And Adam McKay is, doing all the Adam McKay things, but I'm right there. I'm right there the whole time. So I'm enjoying it. I do like the characters. In fact, some of the characters' perceptions I have of them through like the sports world, very different than what's portrayed here. So it was refreshing to get a different look at things. So yeah, I mean, all these characters are unique, and it's a integral time for the NBA. So it's a cool story, a lot of interesting things, and Magic and Larry Bird are credited with saving the NBA, really. So.
Yeah, and you could tell HBO is putting a lot into this show. I mean, you got Adam McKay directed the first episode. You have Jonah Hill just showing up for episode 2, directing that episode. Huge ensemble cast with people still to come. I mean, these are just the ones that are mentioned that we haven't even seen yet. Adrian Brody, Sally Field, Michael Chiklis, Jason Segel, Tracy Letts, Gillian Jacobs, Julianne Nicholson, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So many people involved with this. Before I get into like some of my pros and cons, John, I want to hear what you thought of Winning Time.
I enjoyed it. I like Kyle said, I really enjoyed the cinematography and how they filmed it. I liked it a lot. I wish that there wasn't quite as much film grain because HBO doesn't let you crank the quality up really high. I think it would look absolutely beautiful if you can do a proper 4K, like really nice stream, but they limit their browser streams down to 720p, and even that's not at a great bit rate. So I could see how good it could be, but it wasn't quite there on the platform. Not at all an issue with how they did it. It's an issue of delivery on HBO's end. But yeah, just the way it was cut and all the extra stuff they put in. I really liked the fourth wall breaking. I thought that was brilliant, and I love the way that everybody did it, kind of separately from each other, but everybody did it. It wasn't just one person doing it. And yeah, it made me kind of excited to want to see some more. I am a little sad that I didn't have time to watch more than one, but I'm probably gonna go back and check out some more. And I think it's gonna be pretty good.
Yeah, and I will actually probably surprise some people with this. There was, Kyle warned me, Adam McKay. There's a lot of Adam McKay. His vibe is in this for sure. And it wasn't as bad as I thought. And I think because I am coming in as an outsider into this world, not knowing much about sports, I think the fourth wall breaking actually made it work a bit more. And because I needed the explanation. It wasn't like in Vice when they talked down to me. It's like, oh, you should know. You shouldn't have gone to this concert. You should have been paying attention. It's like, dude, I was 9 years old. Don't blame me. But like this, it's like, okay, well, this is this person. This is that person. And I also think it helps with who's delivering it. The majority came from John C. Reilly's character, Jerry Buss. And I feel like not only the character, but also the actor kind of has this charm factor about him. I mean, who doesn't love John C. Reilly? So I think that like helped make it more tolerable because he seems like a friendly guy telling us a story instead of you should do this. And it's just like, okay, I get it. And I'll be interested to see how much more of this are we going to get because Adam, is not directing, not writing future episodes. So like, where are they going to, like Succession, it's Jesse Armstrong's show. Is somebody else going to mimic the style that Adam McKay set up, or are we going to gradually have it dissipate a little bit? Because I feel like as that first episode went on, there was definitely less fourth wall breaking as the episode went on. And like, are we going to maybe get a little bit here and there? But
they were probably trying to get you into the story a little bit quicker. And I think the fourth wall breaks earlier on allow for that. rather than later on, as you get used to the characters more, then you'll start to know how they react in those situations. But I think early on, it's a good way to kind of move along.
Yeah. And I also will say I liked how there was like this kind of geeky business manager character, and when he would break the fourth wall, he was like barely in the frame, and he was like blurry, almost as if like this
you were in the room with
documentary crew. It was almost like John C. Reilly is going to be perfectly framed, ready to go in focus, but like this random guy, when he's going to try to do his aside, is not, because he's not ready, he wasn't prepared. And it's just I kind of like that little touch of that. We mentioned John C. Reilly a little bit. We can talk about some of the other characters. Jason Clarke. While we have, John C. Reilly's character oozing of charm, Jason Clarke's character Jerry West, a tad angry. Would you say, Kyle?
Yeah, he does a great job with it too. I mean, because he really does go from nothing to something. And I mean, if Jerry West was truly like that, I have no idea. I didn't even know Jerry West was like that. But yeah, I think he plays it perfectly, because there's one scene, especially later on, when I think Jerry Buss says he's going to take magic, and he's like so calm, and then he just freaks out, and it's just like, okay, that's how it is. But wild.
I'm wondering with this, I'm going to jump around a bit here, but like the idea that, is this what Jerry West is like? I mean, the NBA supposedly was, kind of ticked off, with this series, because they're telling their story and about some of their famous players. I really would be interested to see what the players, that are being, mentioned in this story feel about their portrayals and what maybe happened. I mean, for instance, we see at one point Kareem, when he's on, I think, the set of Airplane, tell a kid to F off.
Yeah. When he asks for an autograph. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is like, he's seen it. I mean, he even does like writing for the Hollywood Reporter and stuff like that. He's seen as like I don't know.
He's in the world. He has a platform to say something if he wants to.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of other, basketball players here. And I think the show had this really tough feat of not only did they have to find actors who A, look like their counterpart, but B, are tall enough to be believed as a basketball player, but also C, can act. Like, that's a very important part of the TV show. And then also D, maybe play a little bit of basketball. They don't need to be players, but they at least need to know how to dribble. They have to be able to make it look realistic.
But I mean, that scene at the party seemed realistic. I mean, it looked like those guys, and that's what you need in a show like this. Nothing worse than watching a sports movie and seeing that the actor has never ever touched like a ball.
What do I do in my
life?
Hands?
Yeah.
But so we got a lot of players. I'm a little worried when it comes to like a player like, because you already can see, obviously everything works out, for Magic Johnson within the NBA, but like there's always that, like that seed, at least starting off here between Jerry Buss and Jerry West, where it's like, West doesn't want to have Magic on the team. And it's like, he's already having some, performance issues at that party. And it's like, you can already hear West saying, I told you so. I told you so. So it's like, so there's already this kind of like, the devil and angel on the side here, the two different good and bad. Yeah. But I am interested where it's going. I don't know, for me, if it's going to be like appointment viewing. It might be one of those things where, I might catch in on like later. It's nothing with the show. It's just, I'm not like a sports fan. And I think there's going to be a lot more stuff besides sports. We see it in the opening credits. There's talk of race and drugs and other issues of that time period. So there's going to be more to it than just basketball. But, at least for now, there's so many things I got to watch. Maybe I'll check in on it later. But yeah, it's a high quality show. It's on HBO Sunday nights. You can't really go wrong with that.
Yeah. And I mean, just the cast alone makes you want to watch it. I mean, there's got to be something good in there. If not entire episodes, at least pieces, because the performances are going to be there. So I'm going to be watching it. I'm interested. And it'll be cool to know a little about the characters, but learn stuff along the way. So that's cool.
John, sounds like you're going to keep watching.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there's 2 episodes out right now, so I think I'm gonna hit that second one, and then probably I don't unless it really bombs, I'm gonna probably hit a third and fourth one just to see. But yeah, I'm interested.
All right. Well, that was Winning Time. We have another show to talk about. It's going to be on Apple TV Plus. The Last Days of Ptolemy Gray, the series premiere. Reggie dropped on the 11th of March. This drama miniseries tells the story of a 93-year-old man with dementia who is temporarily able to remember his past, and he uses the time left to investigate the death of his nephew. This is interesting I want to talk about because there's not as much of that synopsis as I said in the first episode at least. But John, what did you think of the pilot of The Last Days here?
I'm a little torn. It was sad. I mean, seeing somebody, I mean, even acting in this state, not being in this state but acting, it was enough to make you kind of think like he has nothing. He has his apartment, which is filled with his belongings that half the time he doesn't seem like he can remember what they are, and he has one person who checks up on him who, spoiler, I mean, you already said it in the title, in the intro, his nephew passes, like he gets killed, like it's his only lifeline to the world, and so the first episode kind of explores his past a little bit just to give some reference and setting up his current state and how he's living and a little glimpse into how his world changes now that he doesn't have that support line. I mean, they kind of set up in the show that he kind of almost never eats unless the nephew comes around. Like he has a can of beans, like like that's it. He has a can of beans a day. Like he's obviously pretty dependent upon his nephew, and it's just kind of sad to think that that's maybe not an exaggeration, that like people actually are in this in this state and do rely on other people, and I don't know. It was good in the fact that it portrayed that in a way that made me feel it, but do I want to watch something so depressing? Like, I don't know.
I had the same exact thought, John. Samuel L. Jackson is giving a performance, and I'm not used to seeing him play somebody who's kind of weak and lonely, and it was hard to watch at points because I legit felt really bad and worry about people that are in this situation, and within this show, people like his nephew, or I guess his other nephew, are taking advantage of him, taking his extra 2 envelopes of cash, or playing with his mind. It's hard to watch at points. It's sad. But yeah, I got some other thoughts, but I'm going to throw it to Kyle. What do you think of the first episode here?
I agree with John. It was really tough to watch at points, especially if you have anybody like in your family or anybody that familiar with like dementia. It's just tough to watch. And I think the whole first episode is a lot of character building because if you really think about it, this episode could be boiled down to the beginning shot where we see him in a much better, what seems like a much healthier state.
Yeah.
Weirdly with the gun. And then at the end, when he says what his objective is, because the whole first episode, I was thinking about this right until the end. It's like, what is happening with the show? It's like a day in the life, which is fine, but what is his purpose here? And in fact, I still don't know, is the stories from his youth important because they're shaping him through his dementia, or are they going to play a bigger role in his life later? Because to me, it was just too ingrained in the show to not have some kind of bigger effect later on. But it just seemed like, I don't know, as soon as his nephew goes down and like we have this, it just seemed like on the back burner the rest of the episode in comparison to the front half. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they definitely set up, the beginning where he's healthier. He looks strong. He's ready to take on whoever is knocking. Maybe it is the person he figured out might have killed his nephew here. But Yeah, this episode was kind of a setup pilot. Like it was like we almost needed another episode if we had the time, because it wasn't until the end where we got the hook of the series that, you know, he's going to try to solve this murder of his nephew. And we see the flashes and the visions of his past different points. And yeah, I'm curious to how that's going to factor in, if at all, because, you know, the murder is contemporary. It's, you know, present day. It's within the last week or so. And it's like, he wasn't really there for a lot of that at all.
Yeah.
So like, how is he going to be able to figure out, even from his own memory, of what happened? The only, you know, at least clue right now is like, we have that woman on the street who, I guess when his other nephew came by to take him to the bank, was like, yeah, you owe me money and this and that. And it's like, oh, maybe she's, you know, at least that's a starting point, because that's the only other person we didn't get much outside of his family, who it could be. And that would be quite a shock if it was somebody in his family. So there's that. And then there's also this mysterious locked room in his house.
Yeah.
That's behind a curtain, probably to keep, you know, him from looking over that way. Very curious to what that could be, if it was maybe a you know, a bedroom of his past partner, or of a child, or something. I don't know, but it's trying to definitely keep those memories out of whatever is in that room.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, I mean, what this show does a good job is laying the groundwork. And I mean, even with the beans, because when Reggie comes back the first time, he goes, oh, you've eaten 3 cans. That's pretty good. And then later on, when Samuel L. Jackson is describing how long it's been, he's like, it's been 9 bean cans since I've seen him. So it's like, it does lay the groundwork. It is good in that sense. It's just like, do I want to make my entertainment watching this dementia guy suffer all the time? And I mean, this one was tough to watch sometimes.
Yeah, I wonder if this would be a better movie, maybe. You know, because I don't know how many episodes it's going to be, 8, 9, 10 episodes, and yeah, it's a tough watch at points. I mean, it's a great performance from Samuel L. Jackson, but you really feel for him in the character there.
It reminds me, what was that one where the actor played him and his brother, and his brother had
the one with Mark Ruffalo?
Yeah,
I know what you're talking, because that just made me think of it too.
Yeah.
It's a very long title.
Yes.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that, with how impactful that was, and how it was sad, but I wanted to watch it because it was sad, and you know, like it kind of feels like it's in that range, you know.
I know this much is true.
Yeah. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
It reminded me of The Father, which was, you know, talking about Oscars next week. That was a surprise Oscar film last year that first I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch it, and I watched it. And yeah, another tough one to watch, but another great performance, another great film. So
Samuel L. Jackson does a great job.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. So yeah, it sounds like, you know, it's a tough watch. We don't know if we're going to be watching more of it. I am interested in it, and it's definitely well done.
Interested too.
So,
maybe in the future, and maybe in a different mood.
Yeah, but I think you're going to stay on the same platform though for your quick check, Kyle. Do we have time? I think we have time for a quick check.
Quick check.
All right, start us off. What do you got, Kyle?
All right, so we're talking about Severance, which I think we talked about. Did we talk about that?
No, we didn't. It was during our off week when we were.
Oh, okay. So I thought we had talked about it briefly, but I guess not. But
you set it up real quick if you can.
Yeah, the premise of the show is that basically a person's work life becomes separated from their real life, so to speak, and they'll have no memory of them being inside doing their job, and the person doing their job will never have an idea of the real world person. So they're like two separate
work-life balance.
Yeah, it's two separate entities. And so then it calls into the morality of like this person that you have locked in a area just working, and that's all they'll ever know. It's like, what is the morality of that? But yeah, so Adam Scott's the main character, and he's seems like he's having a tough outside real world situation, and then some clues keep happening at work to make him question like what he's doing in there. And it seems like he's been drawing maps before, and coworkers have been drawing maps of like this area. And then we've got this powerful being that watches them all the time, and no one really knows what they're doing there, but they're kind of doing this work that's code like, but it manifests itself in like dread. But then the dread never seems to go away based on like what is happening to other characters. So it's kind of a wild show. I'm really interested in it. I think all the performances are really good. The production design of it is really cool. And it's just an interesting premise. And it's keeping me on the edge of my seat for sure.
Yeah, I really like this show so far. It reminds me a bit of Mr. Robot mixed in, definitely with Black Mirror. It's very stylized, great direction from Ben Stiller. It has one of the coolest opening credit sequences.
Yeah, it does. While. It is cool.
I gotta check this out. It sounds like.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was just about to ask you, John, if you've been watching it.
No, I haven't even heard of it.
No, I definitely think you would like this show. It brings up a lot of questions, as Kyle was saying, with morality, and then even as like a viewer, when you're watching it and you even start questioning things, it's like, wait a minute, could they do this? And then the show, it's like, we'll answer it. Hang on. And it's like because there's a new employee that has joined this group, and she doesn't want to be there, and she's trying to get messages out to her other self. It's like, is that possible? Can she resign? It's like, there's a lot of things in it where, and I think it's not to give anything away, stuff from the real world is going to enter into the work world and vice versa. And there happens to be other departments in this office building, but they don't really know each other and they keep them separated. But then it's like, is there like some inner is this
office?
Like a psychological experiment that somebody's doing? They actually don't really care about the work that they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really, really weird.
Yes, definitely. I think check that out, John. I think you'll like it. I got a quick check for you here. Of course, it's reality TV, Survivor Time. The 42nd season dropped last week. I got to talk about it. It's only been a 2-hour premiere, but there's been a lot of stuff, good and bad, to talk about. I'll try to sum it up as best I can. We had Survivor 41 last season, and that was the start of a new era, they said, after Winners at War. And I think that season overall, I had a mixed reaction to it. Any Survivor is good Survivor for me, but it was about the type and the amount of twists that they had. And Jeff, even starting this season of 42, was like, they did a disclaimer almost in an intro, which he never does, and pretty much said, hey, we shoot these back to back. We did 41, 42 before we got the audience reaction to 41 with all the twists. So keep that in mind going into this. And so I'm worried about some of the twists. I really don't like the twists that they did last season that were mostly based on luck, where it's like somebody would, it's like, here's a choice between boxes. And it was the Monty Hall problem of let's make a deal. Choose one, you're safe. Choose the other one, you go home. It's like, that's not the game show I like to watch. I like the strategy element. And they have this new twist called the amulet twist, where 3 players, one from each tribe, were secretly pulled away kind of during a challenge. During a challenge that they're running around, they get pulled to the side pretty much, unbeknownst to the rest of the cast, and they're pretty much given a 3-part advantage. And it's like, all 3 parts have to be in the game in order to use it. But if only 2 parts are in the game, somebody gets voted out, it becomes a little bit stronger, a little bit better. If 1 part is left, so it's like you have to be like, should I work with these 3 people? Should I vote these 3 people out so I can get a more powerful thing? So it's already makes a dilemma of what you're going to do in the strategy element. I like that kind of stuff. And I will say the kicker to all this little thing, as they were going off on the side of the challenge, they were away from the rest of the tribes. The show gave them, to help explain their absence, vats of mud and fake blood to use. And it's like, wait a minute. The mud, maybe they got a little dirty, they had to really crawl around. The fake blood, it was like in Carrie. It's like, if you come drenched out in blood, I think somebody's gonna be like, So I just thought it's just so absurd that it made me laugh. I'm like, what is going on this show?
Yeah.
But I'm always, in to see what, they do in the backstabbing and the social elements. And I just worry a little bit, like, is there, too many twists? I'm a super fan. I listen to podcasts about it, and a lot of these twists are the same from 41. It's almost too much for me. So is there a normal person out there coming home from work on a Wednesday night, just plopping on the couch and even understanding a lick of this? I don't know.
Maybe they're just doing it for the fans at this point. And then
maybe.
if you're there, you're there,
Yeah. But I'm into Survivor. That's Survivor 42, Wednesday night, CBS, of course.
It looks like their casting's gotten a lot more multicultural, which is good. It's just wild to see. I remember the first season, it was just
CBS
very, very
had
different.
a diversity campaign that all their reality shows, Big Brother, Amazing Race, that there's a diversity pledge that they're trying to get a more diverse cast, and you can see that here, which is good.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
All right, John, let's end it with you here. What do you have?
Checking in on Pam and Tommy. I don't know if you guys finished it.
I did, yeah.
You both did. Okay, good. Maybe you'll share my sentiments here. I thought that it peaked mid-season and then kind of trailed off, unfortunately. And I get, and I guess spoilers for real life events, like the resolution was that they broke up, and like that's kind of how it ended. And so I guess it's kind of hard to make that be the high point of the season, but I was a little disappointed that it kind of shot up pretty steep and then just coasted back down a little bit. So I don't know. I like that they had episodes that were kind of, it was looking at Pam and Tommy and you didn't get anybody else, and it was looking at somebody else and you get Pam and Tommy, or you got a little bit of them, and exploring the lawsuits and how it kind of backfired and all that stuff. I like that. It was kind of cool. But yeah, I just kind of didn't feel like it ended as strong as it started. So it was a little disappointing in that regard, but I probably would still recommend it, I think.
Yeah, for me, it was overall okay. I think I went in with such high expectations. We discussed the premiere in 373. And I will say, up front, Lily James, Sebastian Stan, A+ acting and
100%.
Makeup and everything was there for that. I just saw a lot of the story elements of what they decided to focus on was interesting. Like, the kind of almost redemption arc of Seth Rogen's character at various points. And they never showed the real, like, I feel like Tommy, from what I even remember hearing about Tommy, this relationship and the abuse that he gave, Pam, and that was non-existent until the very last episode. Even in, like, they even just mentioned it really in the end credits. And it's like, if anything, they painted him as like a perfect loving husband for most of the series. So it was stuff like that, and how they mixed it around real life with some stuff from that didn't happen, but maybe it happened at a different time. And like, we're just doing it for the drama here. But what did you think?
Overall, I thought it was, I liked it. I still enjoyed it. I do agree with John a little at the end. It kind of at the end filtered out. I didn't think it was the strongest like series finale or season finale, but there is something to be said about the equivalent of just going out on like them breaking up, because how else? I mean, Pam and Tommy, they get together. It's like, boom, a flash in the pan. It's like this big, huge thing. And whatever happened to them is a big, huge deal. And then the remnants of all that, when really it's said and done, is, a relationship that crumbles. And so it makes a little sense if you create the metaphor between the two. But, and either way, it was interesting to see some of the perspectives. I think I got at least I hope I did. I got in the mindset more of like Pam Anderson and what she went through during that time. That sucks, know?
Yeah.
And she was, I guess she would be like the pioneer. No, I'm not pioneer, but like that was the first real, right? Where it went viral like that.
Yeah, I would believe so. I mean, especially with the timing of the internet, and I do wish that she was more involved, maybe like with how Monica was involved with American Crime Story the last season. She wasn't involved with this project, but I did see that she is going to do something for Netflix, like a documentary. So we'll have to see that if, to get, the maybe the true story of what really happened. But I will say one quick nitpick. The character of Seth, not Seth Rogen, but the character of Seth, he was the Internet Entertainment Group founder.
Yeah.
I never bought this as a character.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because the actor, I've seen him a bunch, especially in like The White Lotus.
Yeah.
And he's just so young in that.
And he was a kid.
It was like, I don't see this as like, especially towards the end, as like the villain. It just didn't work. It didn't work for me.
No.
Really took me out. But
no, I didn't like it either.
All right. Well, that was Pam and Tommy. That was our quick checks. That is it for this week. Next week, we aren't talking about television. We're going to be talking about movies, and we're going to be predicting the Oscars. The good, the bad, and the watchable will hopefully be on to join us to predict the 94th Academy Awards. After 4 losses, can they finally win in year 5? God, I hope they don't, because I don't want to watch anything bad here. So fingers crossed. But yeah, we will be talking about the Oscars next week. It's always a fun one when they join us. It's going to be a good live show. So make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, youtube.com/Dual Redundancy, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the blog, dualredundancy.com. And you can watch the live show on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dual Redundancy, 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday night. Check it out on Twitch. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Dual Redundancy. Let's see. I got to thank both you guys for joining me tonight, for watching these shows, trying to explain NFTs to me. I'll never get it. I'll never get it. And for John,
I'll have to study tonight.
Yeah. And for John directing the show, putting it up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I couldn't do it without you guys.
I broke my streak of not cussing.
Yeah, well, you'll be the one editing that.
Yeah.
Until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm John Berwick.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Dual Redundancy. Goodbye, everybody.